Hello traders, and welcome to this Monday Bitcoin and cryptocurrency update for you all. So Bitcoin, not a lot has changed over the weekend. I'll quickly go through some of the short time frame stuff that we did have during the weekend's price action, but overall still at the same level really that we were on Thursday, Friday of last week. So first of all, the resistance that we're at, very clear, very obvious right now. We are at this golden pocket resistance that is from our breakdown high, so kind of the last high that was put in before we really saw that big breakdown, obviously taking us down to our low here that was put in at the bottom of this range. Now that is significant. That's giving us this 47,800 area as a resistance zone to be aware of. But there's also other stuff around here as well that does add confluence to this. The other thing that we do have here, and now this is a little bit slightly unconventional, but I do think this is quite important to note just because of the way this is drawn. Now, this is a speed fan that's coming from our highs. Normally, you would be looking to take this down from your pivot high to your pivot low here, which is this. This is the low that was put in on the range. This was the deviation. However, in this instance, what I'm wanting to do, because this is an angled line showing a trend, rather than just being a high to low kind of flat Fibonacci, this is showing a trend, then I would be more inclined to take that to this low here. Now, the reason being for that is because up here is our final high that was put in before a change of trend. Okay, so you have high, 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 and then you have your low, your higher low, your higher low, and then at that point we change trend. Okay, so this was the last high that was put in before a change of trend. In this instance, what we also have is our lows that were put in down here, but this one is the one that changed trend. Okay, whoops, I've just moved my my thing, so we'll just move that back across over here. This is the one here that did change the trend. Okay, so let me just quickly explain that once more. Magnet back onto there, take that off, and you have your low, then you have your lower low, then you do have a higher low, but it's these highs up here that were taken out in order to get this trend change here, and this was your last low that was put in. So in order for it to form a trend, this is much more important in my opinion for what you need to be looking at. Okay, so even if we had for example put in a slightly higher high up here on Bitcoin and this trend continued on upwards, it would still be, this would be the last high before you change trend, and in this instance the last low before you change trend. So we do have this converging confluence here on the chart at the moment, which is quite significant. Okay, so we have gone into this area. This gives us a nice zone here to be looking at a potential short trade to back down into a support area. Okay, but the other thing is I'm not too interested in taking shorts yet. This is an area right now where I'm thinking basically just reduce risk on any long exposure and just see what happens. We've not had any direction, like any kind of clear sign that this is going to break down. It's really just a case of we're consolidating below resistance, which at the moment has to still be seen as bullish. So the other thing that I can add on to this chart is our high time frame levels. Now, I know I've just whacked them all back onto the chart, so just take the ones that are important here. We do have a weekly level up here, okay, and that corresponds with these lows down here. So we do have this weekly level at 49.074 to be aware of if we do get another move up into this point up here, in which case that could be, again, you'd be looking mainly for a change of trend, a change of market structure in order to have some confidence to take the shorts, but we could see a larger rejection off of this zone. And the other thing is that brings us very close into this order block level that we do have up here as well. And of course, big 50k. So a lot of people will be expecting this 50k to be hit at this stage, as long as we're consolidating underneath resistance and we don't change that market structure. That still does look like it could be quite likely. But I would definitely say that this is a very significant level to be aware of, this 49k level or just above there. So yeah, what we can also do on this is to pull our fixed range. Let's just take this again from the year and let's have a look, and you can really see that high volume node popping in at that area as well. So whilst we are at a significant area, a lot of this volume has been built because we're here now. Okay, this high volume node that you see here we have not yet tested. So I do believe this to be the most important level on the chart currently where we are, and that would support a move up into this area before we do see a bigger move down on this, because I do think that this is yeah, possibly a lot of people shorting here just based off of this golden pocket. But yeah, you've got to be very aware that this can still go higher. Okay, we know what Bitcoin likes to do. You know, it likes to kind of touch into this golden pocket, the 618, very briefly, and then it likes to just poke up, stop out all of the early shorts, and then have its final move down once everyone starts to get like properly bullish on the chart. So the other thing that we do want to look at on this is I do want to move this up just to be aware. So if we do move this up to our all-time high, then again, if we do start to break through this area here, so we can remove this off of our charts and we can add back on our levels, then we do have to be aware that we do have this larger golden pocket 618 area coming in around this 51 to 52k region up here. Now the thing with that is it doesn't have quite as much volume attached to it. It like was pretty much a straight move down, came straight below. On each occasion, we've only really had one pivot off of this 51-200 area. Everything else has either gone straight through, straight up, or became support and resistance above or below that point. But again, it's another level to be aware of to the upside. Now, when things do, I'll say, well, I won't say inevitably, but I do believe at some point we will see a retrace. It would be healthy for the market. Then, of course, we need to be looking at our levels to the downside. So what is immediately obvious here is a nice zone within this 42k to 40,500 area. That is quite significant. So there is that nice zone where you have a monthly open, you have a few daily levels as well down there. And I think that would be quite a significant area if we do see a pullback. Now, we can't do any fib work on this yet because we've not confirmed any local high. But yeah, we do need to be aware that wherever this high may come in, we can also pull our fibs from here and start to see potentially where we could start to get a bit of support lower down. So we could just turn this on into a full fib here and we can have a look. We've got our 382 and our 0.5 within this area where there's quite a lot of significant support. Okay, so do be aware of that. We don't know where this is going to end up. Yeah, it could just be here, and in which case we do have this 382 coming in around our monthly open. That would be significant. But I'm not looking yet for moves to the downside. I still think market structure's looking pretty decent, okay? You can see we're in a bit of a range right now. It's looking quite similar to, yeah, I guess what we've been doing the last few weeks really is just this steady move up. It doesn't appear to be losing strength at this stage. I still would not be overly inclined to look for shorts. Like the market structure is very clear here. Here's your low. Here's another low, here's another low, here's another low. I wouldn't really be looking for to take any shorts unless, of course, one of these gets taken out. And in which case you can start to go, okay, there's a low taken. And this is like swing trade shorts. Like obviously you can day trade and scalp this both ways. But as a swing trade short, I would be looking for a change of market structure and then give me confidence for a further move down here. And again, it's this 42 to 40,500 area that I would be looking at as my support. So this is the potential scenario. Obviously, we could move up, we could reject, change market structure. And again, I'd probably be looking at shorts within this 47,600. We'd have to wait and see where we are when we do eventually get there, if we do eventually get there. So I think that's more or less just Bitcoin covered. The short term, the low time frame stuff that we have going on right now is nothing particularly significant. We're still contained within this initial balance for the day. So we did have a very wide initial balance on quite high volume. I do think that it's likely that we get contained within that initial balance for the rest of the day. But of course, with the theory of the initial balance is if you do see consolidation back above there, it would support a trending move higher. And of course, if this does roll over and we start to see us being unable to get back in, then it would support a move further down there. And obviously you'd use your VWAP as well to go along with that. Our month VWAP's way down there, so again, don't really need to be looking at that too much. And what else can we add onto this? We can have a look at no, yeah, that's kind of everything that we really need to be looking at on this. Again, the session volume right now, because we're still contained within this initial balance, you can just more or less expect this to be a trending day on the Bitcoin chart. Now, the one thing I would say to be aware of, and that would kind of make me think be cautious on any longs here, and again, probably where we are right now, just looking at this local, possibly looks like a little bit of a better short opportunity, okay? If I were to look for a trade right now, at least intraday and a day trade, it would probably be to the short side, because I do see this as being an area that could get filled in. I think long term things still look okay on the higher time frames, but I think right now maybe we're getting slightly overextended just from looking at this local price action. And the other thing, of course, to be aware of is do be very aware of what happens on the US market open today. There is worldwide tension again. We all know what can happen to financial markets when there is an unsettled period politically, with the situation that's going on in Afghanistan and all of that kind of stuff. Then we do need to be very aware that that could cause some pretty choppy, pretty volatile price action if the US markets do react to that. So there is the potential there for that correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market to return. And it's often when the stock market starts to correct and has some pretty aggressive moves down that we do see that correlation. So do be aware of that. But for now, just trade it level by level, but do be cautious on any long positions here, especially when we're so high up in the range. I've done 12 minutes on this video. I think what I'm going to do is do a separate altcoin video. So I will upload that later on today. So I'm going to take a look at some alts because we've had some really nice moves up on altcoins. I'll probably take a look at Ethereum. I'll take a look at Litecoin, Link, Cardano. Sol has had a really nice move up, and yeah, just do a little video on those ones as well. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do not think there is anything else I really want to cover on this. Yeah, that's about everything. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, bye.